Hello everyone and welcome to another high-low game of Age of Empires. Today, are you feeling chilly? Because we've got a battle of the Berbers as Mr. Yo, playing as the Berbers in blue, takes on Sebastian, playing as the Burgundians in red. Now while the players herd their herdables, explore their immediate surroundings, and try to get their butts up to Feudal Age ASAP, why don't we take a look at the Civ matchup that we are going to be watching today. Now the Berbers are a Civ that pushes its players into the welcoming toes of their camels. All of their stable units are 15% cheaper in Castle, 20% cheaper in Imperial. Their camel units can be upgraded to regenerate health, and their castles can be upgraded to work faster, both of which strongly benefit their first unique unit, the Camel Archer. This is a mounted archer unit with good HP, great speed, and an attack bonus against cav archers. So against the Burgundians, perhaps not a unit that we are going to see today, but never say never. Now, starting in the Castle Age, the Berbers can also start training a second unique unit, the Genitor. Think of this as a mounted skirmisher that comes with more HP but less range, and also costs a little bit more food than a normal skirmisher because, hey, yeah, no pun intended, hey, you gotta feed that horse. Now, to help your economy get up and running ASAP, as fast as humanly and camelly possible, the Berber villagers do move 5% faster in Dark Age, 10% faster after that. Wow, that might have been one of the cleanest deer pushes I've seen in a while. Now let's take a look at the bottom right of our map where we've got Sebastian. Now let me ask you a question, and a purely hypothetical question for most, if not all of you. What would happen if you took a Hunter S. Thompson Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas quantity of acid and designed a civilization for Age of Empires? Well, the answer might look something like the Burgundians, an absolute oddball civilization with some of the craziest features and upgrades in the entire game. Now, militarily, the Burgundians also focus on our four-legged friends, being the only civ in the game to have cavaliers in the Castle Age. Also, a pretty good deer push there. And their unique unit, the Custelier, is a medium cavalry shock unit that has a massive plus 20 and 25, depending on whether you're working with the base or the elite model, added to its attack every single 40 seconds. Now, to help support their cavalry on the field of battle, Burgundian gunpowder units do attack with 25% more punch, and they do have access to a second unique unit, the Flemish Militiaman. This is a medium infantry unit with a pretty decent attack bonus against, camels and cavalry units. Now, if that's not enough military for you, well, the Burgundians can conscript their entire civilian population. Unfortunately, no battle sheep just yet, maybe in the next patch, but they can conscript their entire civilian population to turn each and every villager into a Flemish militiaman, and allowing even more of those very Flemish militiamen to be trained out of their barracks. Now, in order to pay for the Burgundian war machine, their stable techs are 50% cheaper. Their relics generate food in addition to gold, so it will be an interesting situation to see. Usually, Mr. Yo, mostly, not always, but mostly the player who likes to go out onto the map and gather relics, but might be a little bit of added incentive here for Sebastian to get the relics, since they will generate food, like I said, in addition to gold. All economic upgrades for the Burgundians are available in Age earlier and cost less food, and if that's still not enough acid-based features for you, well, then their farmers, like the Vietnamese lumberjack, can be upgraded to generate a small amount of gold. Unlike the lumberjack of the Vietnamese, who generates it while jacking wood, the Burgundian generates it by tilling the fields of their farms. So those are the two civilizations we have before us. It looks like Mr. Yo already heading out onto the map, exploring, as Sebastian has explored his immediate vicinity. It doesn't really know where Mr. Yo is at the moment, but now that he's pushed his final deer, we'll see whether or not he discovers as quickly as Mr. Yo, who looks like he's gone a little bit off campus here to the north. So it will be a while before, actually, you know what? Maybe Sebastian will end up discovering his opponent's base first, even though he sent his scout out second. A good opportunity for us as both players hit up the next age. 2 villagers behind is our Berber, which is why he's got about a 50-second lead ahead of his opponent. I say about a 50-second lead because his idle TC time is 3 seconds for Mr. Yo, who now discovers Sebastian's base. Sebastian, at the exact same time, discovers his opponent's base. Primary gold for our Burgundian, unknowingly placed to the front, but next to a forest, which means a little bit of a wall off here should be enough to secure that gold. Primary stone, nice and secure to the back already. A bit of a wall off to the flank. Additional gold to the left, additional gold to the right, and additional stone. I mean, this is This is just so ugly. Where do you even place a mining camp here? Just here on this one little plateau? Maybe here? Maybe down here at the bottom? Can you fit a mining camp down here? I don't know. We'll find out if we're lucky enough to see Sebastian mine that quarry. Primary stone for our... I mean, I had to highlight it because how many patches of stone is this? It's so annoying to see when it's on a hill on an elevation. Primary stone off to the side. Primary gold exposed very much to the front, but kind of not really on the attack path. That being said, Sebastian knows exactly where it is, so we'll see if he's the one who puts on the aggression, if he decides to press at that point. A bit of stone and gold off to the side as well, and a bit more gold off. So, forest-wise, decent forests. Allows him to wall off his forward portion pretty easily on the left and the right side of this very thin forest. And no surprise that Mysterio is not taking any lumber from here, because look how thin this forest is. Any kind of archers, even weak skirmishers, are going to be enough to annoy the hell out of any lumberjacks over there. Uh-oh, wait a second. Yeah, no, this villager is going to make it. Mysterio knows it. Garrisons the town center. We've got a stolen sheep. Is it going to move out? No, look at that, Mysterio, the gentleman that he is, saying, or rather, Sebastian, my apologies, Sebastian, the gentleman that he is, saying, I know I can have 100 little steaks of mutton, but no, I'm going to leave it for you. I'm going to circle around your base. Uh-oh, with 3 scouts. Where are Sebastian's forests? Forward portion very open. So even though I said he could wall off this gold easily, the rest of it is a pretty long distance. And he's got a forest to the back that he is jacking. Has Mysterio seen it? Yeah, he has. So decent location for a forest all the way to the back. Decent in terms of having defense against melee units. Against range units might be very problematic if a any kind of ranged unit approaches that. Although we are now in feudal. Is there even an archery range for our Berber? No, there is not. There is a stable. For now, that's all there is. 3 scouts continuing. There's a 4th one being added here. So he's going to join in on the fun in a second. And then all of a sudden, Mr. Yo is going to try to overwhelm this base, maybe? He does manage to push back 1 scout with 1 spearman. There are 3 already out. Let's see how Mysterio plays this. Always interesting to see. 4 scouts is a force that can do some damage, even with a town center, because a bunch of them can body block a villager, just like's happening here. And wow, in the blink of an eye, Mr. Yo draws first blood, the first villager and total kill of the game going to him. Let's see if he can do that again. Why are the spearmen not being repositioned? Why are there 3 hanging over here? What's the point of these 3? He can't get in through here. He can't get in now through here. Might want to redeploy these guys. He definitely can't get in through the north side. So Mr. Yo striking like a viper is the only thing I can think of. A quick hiss, and down goes a Burgundian villager. Now he's going to chase after a scout. Does get a few whacks off at the scout. Has to get the hell out of here, though. Now 2 spearmen, rather, are going to be more than enough. And there we go. Body block surrounds the villager. 1 attack, 16 HP. But loom, a town center, and the looming, no pun intended, yet again, looming threat of a spearman is enough to shoo those guys away. Let's take a look at our Berber base. What are you? A blacksmith, and now he's got an archery range. So archers are going to be thrown in the mix. He sees this incredibly far. Like I said, this is amazing against melee units. Against ranged units, not so much. Mysterio circling. He's going back to the weak villager. Oh, he found her. Oh, very sour. Very, very sour. Who was it? I think, oh, goodness gracious. I'm thinking out loud here, which is really what I guess casting really is, right? I mean, you just running my mouth out loud as opposed to in the inner monologue in my head. But we saw a game recently, about 4 or 5 months ago, if that's recently. I was so impressed. Was it the Viper? Was it Hera? Or was it ACCM who had an injured villager just like Sebastian had here, and then reallocated the villager further into the settlement to keep them safe? And so Sebastian not doing that allowed Mr. Yo to return to the killing fields here and gun down a second villager. So he's now ahead, 2 kills to none, and not bad kills, 2 villager kills. But he's got the counter unit out, the counter unit that lives for about the lifespan of a fruit fly here against these scouts. It's now 4 kills to nothing as Sebastian finds himself, walled out of his own base. Has to destroy the palisade, builds a big, fat, juicy market, but you are not a Saracen market that costs only 75 food. So he had to pay full price for that, although probably doesn't care. since that is his secondary structure, which will allow him to go up to Castle Age and perhaps get those Cavaliers out. Ooh, the unit placing for Sebastian is not great, although right as I say that, he does get his first kill finally at the 17-minute mark of the game. I say not great because the spearmen were to the right, the skirmishers to the left, and the cavalry just running circles around everyone. So Mr. Yo agrees with me that this is an absolute kill zone for Sebastian against ranged units. Sebastian agrees with Mr. Yo, who agrees with me, and immediately builds a completely amazing counter army and is now going to absolutely wreck the entire expeditionary force of our Berber, which melts, dies, completely gone, and Sebastian doesn't even up the kill count, but he evens up the military kill count, which is pretty darn important. He's now down 2 villagers on the whole, and he is heading up to Castle Age a little bit earlier, about 15 seconds earlier than his opponent. Amazing game so far. Not a lot of craziness in terms of big battles in this, but a lot of fun maneuvering and a lot of fun attempts to get by Mr. Yo to get over here, by Sebastian to deny it. But Mr. Yo, he's not one and done. He's got a second army group. The scouts 4 kills, but look at their HP. Absolutely terrible. Now in 14, 13, whatever seconds, we're going to have bloodlines. So it's going to improve a little bit because the ratio should stay the same, as one of you guys, amazing commenters, pointed out to me before. Now he's got to get the hell out of here. An archer for a skirmisher is not a good trade for our Berber, who is still 30 seconds away from the next age. We'll see what our Burgundian decides to do for now. Should be pretty happy to take all of these fights. I think he can take these scouts, to be honest. But he's not paying attention, or rather doesn't care, maybe. I see on the minimap he is going for a second town center. He does gun down that scout, but not for free. Does cost him a skirmisher, although not the end of the world for either player. Second town center, not a bad location. I'm surprised it's on this wood line, which is so easily lamed. But having a town center here does give him quicker access, I guess, to the gold eventually. And this is exactly the point. Your town center here is very easily lamed. Town center to the south, much better location. Pile of stone, lots of room for farms, more jack and of lumber. Archer has to get the hell out of here. Skirmishers with their great line of sight. Do see him. Oh, pathing. Pathing for that archer means he is donezo. Not closed. Not closed, Sebastian. That scout could have gone into your base and caused a little bit of trouble. We've got knights for our Berber. Remember, the Berber knights at this point are 15% cheaper. It's hard to keep it's hard to keep up with all the discounts in Age of Empires. Oh my god! Oh my god! He went in! Sebastian! Gate, not a priority. But we'll see how long these knights last. Not exactly the tankiest of units, even in early Castle Age. Even with +1 armor underneath a town center. But this is mission accomplished so far. Oh, and now they're trapped in here. You're stuck in here with me, says the Watchman Burgundian army. And kills the 2 knights. I don't know if they actually killed him or if Monsieur just deleted it to save it from getting converted. My eyes are not that quick, being an old man that I am. Let's take a look at the town centers for Monsieur. Also stone, wood, and farms for him to the south, just like the one to the south for our Burgundian. But a much better location for a town center. I'm surprised he hasn't deleted these palisades yet, although maybe not really interested in placing farms outside of the settlement yet. Doesn't really need to. Fantastic town centers for our Berber, who now continues to move around the front here. Unfortunately for him, monks are out, or at least a monk. Oh, never mind, 2 of them. So that should shoo away his entire army. Those red sniper lines are just ridiculously fear-inducing. They freeze the heart of even the most hardened knight. Just to get the hell out of here. With husbandry, they're going to do a pretty darn good job of running away. Oh man, 1.65 tiles a second. Always fun to see the... maybe I'm alone in this, but I always like to see the stats and the speed and things like that of the units in Age of Empires as the knights, who they're prowling. They think maybe there's another gap. Sebastian, once burned twice shy, creates a double wall off here with houses as well. More and more conversions. Oh no! How many conversions? Actually, why did I get so excited? That was only 2 conversions on the whole. Although this one's not gonna live very long. Oh my god! The charging up of conversion is still a thing in Age of Empires, and that scout had absolutely no chance. But in come the camels. Why did I think there were more conversions? Maybe the Burgundians is training knights of his own. Very easy way to see that, by the way. One has a +1 armor upgrade, one has a +1 attack upgrade. So this one with the armor is a Berber knight. This one with armor is also a Berber knight. So you did get those 2 conversions. Okay. What's happening on the western portion of the base? A random converted scout bites the dust. Ooh, Mr. Yo. It's 1 relic a piece, about to be 2 to 1. But look at this. Our Burgundian has seen the last 2 remaining relics on the map. What about Mr. Yo? No, he hasn't. That is incredibly sour. I love when this stuff happens. I mean, I'm sure the players hate it. 1 tile away is that relic, but he has seen this one. Okay. So Mr. Yo has not seen the relic that's closest to him. Is there any kind of red slow-moving dot? Sebastian going for the safer relic first, as he's got 5 monks out here in the forward position, 6 in total. A Berber castle going down at the same time as a Berber town center. 7 villagers on stone for our Burgundian means he might catch up pretty darn early. Now, why did he train knights if he's not going to upgrade them to cavaliers? Generally, not a bad move. Cavaliers, even against basic camels, should do pretty well. Now, the main weakness of the Burgundian cavalry is they're missing of bloodlines, which reduces their HP by 20, or potential HP by 20. But a camel rider only has +9 attack bonus. So even with 100 HP, the power of a cavalier against a 0/0 armored camel should be pretty good. These freaking Burgundian monks are just having an absolute field day over here. Converting knights, converting camels. Oh, camel on the high ground, but doesn't save the monk in time. Monsieur looks like he wanted to reclaim, or not reclaim. You see, knight 10+1. Take a look at the top right of your screen. Forging, that's how we know this is a Burgundian. Sorry, I don't mean to sound so pedantic. I'm just kind of, again, talking to myself here. He is going camel archers? Okay. Now, in all fairness, a bit of a tough matchup here for our Berber. In terms of taking on the Burgundian, who, like I say every time we see a Burgundian, you have to always be so careful. Yeah, playing against the Burgundians is like, do you remember Batman the Dark Knight with Heath Ledger playing as the Joker? And how throughout that movie, there was just this menacing kind of music in the background, this ominous hum, especially during the scene at the end. I'm not going to say spoiler alerts because the movie's like 20 years old. Especially at the end with the 2 boats, they have to decide who's going to kill the other boat. There's this kind of ominous hum throughout the movie that just makes people who watch it so uncomfortable. Kind of like, ugh, what is that? Why is there that thing? And it was done on purpose to make you uncomfortable. That's what it's like playing against the Burgundians, especially for a cavalry, a camel civilization. Because at any moment, those redonkulous Flemish militiamen can come out, and their attack bonuses are no joke. Absolutely no joke. +8 against cavalry, +6 against camels. So it's a very uncomfortable thing to do, number one. And the Berbers being a mounted civilization, I mean, their camels do regenerate HP, so they can take on the Burgundian cavalry. But then the Burgundian can just throw in halberdiers. They can throw in those hand cannoneers that deal not 17 damage like most hand cannoneers, but 21. I've said it before, that attack bonus for hand cannoneers, that properly belongs to the Bohemians. But it is the Burgundians who get it, and we've got the Coustelier. +20 attack with forging makes it +21. The quintessential shock unit, an anchor castle to the bottom, an anchor castle to the top. Mr. Yo, he's down 13 villagers. He's down 10 army count. He has killed 4 total Burgundian villagers. So I'm a little bit surprised that he's the one who's down. His villagers move faster. His stable units are cheaper. And yet he's the one who's down in villagers. Players engage, players disengage. Camel, will he get converted? Man, they absolutely suck at killing anything but cavalry. But look at this. This is like a gift bag assortment of units here. Coustelier, knights, camels. In they close. One of my favorite attack animations, attacking underhanded with that giant glaive. Ooh, but now there's a castle. You got to be very, very careful. Let's see what our Berber can do. No halberdiers for you. That's the Burgundian who gets those in this matchup. And so, even though Mr. Yo is 10 seconds away from Imperial, his opponent has been there for a while, and he's getting Casbah. Casbah is the upgrade that makes the Berber castles, rather not camels, castles, work 25% faster. And now that he's in Imperial, does he have the resources for Maghrebi camels to allow his camels to regenerate HP? I don't know, but he is getting thumb ring. He is roiding out these camel archers. Coustelier, oh, cock blocked by a palisade at the 35-minute mark of the game, and then you die. That is about as sour a death as you can have in Age of Empires. Speaking of sour death, 3 Cousteliers thrown into the dustbin for nothing, but twing twang go the double trebs here. By the way, on the high ground, and now it is Mr. Yo who is under bombardment, more and more infrastructure. Oh, maybe we are going to get to see hand cannoneers. Maybe not. He's getting bodkin. Call made, immediately negated. What the hell is the what the hell's the bodkin for? The castles? I guess the castles, right? I mean, the Burgundians don't exactly have the best archery range. Again, with the exception of hand cannoneers, I don't think they get arbalests or heavy cav archers. Now the camel archers are elite. They're going to have bracer. They're going to have chemistry. They're going to have conscription to train them faster. Conscription plus Casbah equals a ridiculously fast training time for the camel archers. Monk here up north. By the way, what does the relic count look like? 3-2 for Mr. Yo. Of course it is. You have to wake up real early. One of my favorite quotes, and I'm going to paraphrase it because I don't remember the exact quote, of I'm a big fan of Terry Pratchett. I think I've made it very, very abundantly clear. Now we're getting elite Cousteliers as well of Terry Pratchett, and one of his Discworld novels is about a group of policemen called the Watchmen, and the leader Sam Vimes. I think at one point, I forget if it was him or if it was Lord Vetinari, I don't remember the character, but somebody said you have to wake up real early in the morning to get the better of him. And he said, "Oh, my darling, my dear, you don't have to get up in the morning. You don't have to. You can't sleep at all if you want to get the better of me." And that is exactly Mr. Yo with relics. If you want to beat him at the relic game, you have to really try hard. To make a long story short, but to make a long story short, castle down, and our Berber is in a bit of trouble because he is relying on a unit being trained out of a castle. And he is losing castles left, right, and center. But wait a second. Uh-oh. This is a waste of a good amount of Cousteliers. They head up north. They get the Trebs with their charge attack. Once that charge is spent, though, they go down to an 11 base. Not exactly the highest for a cavalry unit. Their HP also missing bloodlines is stuck at 145, which is not terrible. I don't know who got the better trade there. I thought that was absolutely terrible for our Burgundian for a second, but he got a good amount of trebs. Rather, he got all of the trebs, and he's still here causing a ruckus. Double whammy as they both die. Ooh, Monk sees the castle going up. Now the pike are here. Now we're getting bracer. It's got to be for the castles, or maybe no. I mean, I'm the idiot. It's for the elite skirmishers. Now the Coustelier is not exactly the most expensive unit. 55 gold. Camel archers cost more than that. So whatever trade in terms of gold cost our Burgundian can take, the better it is for him. But look at this. All of a sudden, in come the Cousteliers. They're going to slaughter everything with that charge attack. Where the hell are you going, double trebs? Okay, I guess they're attacking this castle. Down goes another castles. 3 castles down the toilet. As the Cousteliers now engage yet again. They are maxed out in terms of armor. Attack-wise, they're still missing Blast Furnace. He needs to get on that. It takes 1 minute and 40 seconds to research. And now skirmishers are going to add about as much damage as possible. Ballistics completing as well. So I thought it was for the castles. Oh, okay. I guess he doesn't need a minute and 40 seconds because Mr. Yo overwhelmed by the introduction of the skirmisher, which comes with 2 attack bonuses, cavalry archer and archer, against the camel archer that has both the archer and cav archer armor. The introduction of this unit to the south is too much, especially when he's about to lose his 4th castle, being left with only this. And he is just now placing the infrastructure to go. I'm assuming he'll probably want to go some kind of hussar, or maybe, I mean, the heavy camel upgrade isn't that expensive, but I'm assuming this is going to be for some kind of light cavalry with that Berber discount. Man, oh man, can they spam the hussars? And especially if your opponent is starting to introduce skirmishers. But no, that's all conjecture. That's all theoretical. What's in front of us is a GG for Mr. Yo. Sebastian takes it. Oh, look at this. I saw Capture Age was updating or upgrading or updating, whatever it is, installing an improved version. Look at this. First most trained units, second, third. This is pretty cool. Let's take a look. 53 camel archers against 55 Custodes with enough kiting, with enough movement. This camel archer should have taken the fight. 1.54 movement speed to 1.49. Which means in theory, if Mr. Yo wanted to micro these camel archers, he could have absolutely slaughtered these Burgundian units, especially because they just have 6 pierce armor against the 12 attack of the camel. So 6 damage to a unit that has 145 HP. Not exactly as tanky as most paladins or things like that, but it doesn't matter. None of that matters. What matters is the absolute destruction of these castles, and what matters is in the blink of an eye. Literally, I think in the last 5 minutes, Sebastian racks up 41 villager kills. And so not only is Mr. Yo's military industrial complex crippled, he's left with 1 castle trying to get up more and more stables, but his economy is also destroyed as well. These Custeliers getting an absolute big amount of work done. 13 of them, 15 kills. Not terrible. Actually, it's not 13. It's these 9. I included the fresh recruits for some reason. It's these 9 Custeliers with 15 kills. 10 of those are villagers. And man, with their plus, now take a look at this, plus 27 attack, 25 for the feature, and then 2 more for iron casting. Their first attack does 38 damage, and that's, by the way, not maxed out. It maxes out at 40. Oh my goodness, just such a badass charge unit. Now, Sebastian wasn't really using it as a hit and run unit like I think it should be used. He was using it more as a heavy cavalry, hammer meets fist, anvil type of paladin, war elephant type of unit, which I'm not too sure it is, because look what happens once that charge attack is gone. 11 plus 2. You attack on a 13 from a 40, or I guess in this case a 38 to a 13, which is a huge reduction. Your HP again is not the highest. It's not terrible, but it's not the highest. And your base attack of an 11 is super duper weak. I mean, that's like Shrevamsha level attack, super weak. But with the destruction of 4 castles, or was it 3 castles, now a 4th castle, no backup military structures whatsoever, just now getting a few stables up. He does have 1, 2, somewhere there's a 3rd here on the map that's fully operational. My eyes, oh, it's right here, right in front of my eyes. Of course it is. You're not operational at all because there is a castle breathing down your neck. So unless the waypoint is set somewhere up here, anything that comes out of this is going to get hurt. Let's put it like that. Mr. Yo just realizes there's no longevity anymore in this game for him, even though he's got the BBC out. Oh, the Custeliers don't notice. They're heading, oh, look at this guy. 1 HP. Okay, a villager could kill that guy. Let's take a look at the stats. That was a really fun game. But like I said, it's a tough matchup for the Berbers in my humble opinion. Trash resources going to the Burgundians, scarce resources going to our Berber, whose economy, despite being down significantly in terms of villager count, like 10 to 20% down villager count most of the game, not terrible. Relic gold not really playing a role, about 400 extra gold for Mr. Yo there, but it's not the worst to be down about 15% economy. 12 conversions out of 100 units is pretty darn badass. That's, if my very simple math skills tell me anything, that's 12%. And And look at that, how adorable Mr. Yo managed to convert 1 unit out of 115. 8 buildings destroyed by the Burgundians. 3 of those, by the way, are castles. And when you're relying on your unique unit, training them out of castles, unless you're the Huns or unless you're the Goths, yeah, you can't really rely on having 1 castle and training your entire army. Total kill count incredibly similar on the whole, but Mr. Yo getting a lot more military kills, our Burgundian Sebastian getting a lot more civilian kills. And even though Mr. Yo did a good amount of damage in the earlier stages of the game, ultimately just that Burgundian war machine absolutely steamrolling him towards the end. Look at the villager count, and you know what 155 going up to 158, you know what that means, right? That means Flemish Revolution. You know, some people are into fashion, they have Le Boutins. Us in Age of Empires, we like our Le Button, the button that the Burgundians have, that revolution where all of a sudden 155 Flemish militiamen will just swarm over the hell over your base. And ultimately, like I said, Mr. Yo, his military industrial complex destroyed, with the exception of 1 remaining castle light years away. How many parsecs is this away from the field of battle? He's now getting another military industrial complex up and running, but he's using 1 villager to do it, which means it's not going to be up and running anytime soon. A random knight charges, says, I want to get some kills too, don't forget about me. And ultimately, pikeman, this is a symbol for Mr. Yo. The pikeman falls, his death throes, agony yelling to the sky, Willem Dafoe style in the movie whose name I always forget. Is it Apocalypse? I think it's Apocalypse Now? No. What the hell? What movie was it? Oh my God, I love the smell of napalm in the morning. In any event, doesn't really matter. Man, did I go on a tangent. It is Sebastian, our Burgundian, who does not call Le Boutin, who rather instead overpowers his opponent with the absolute bonkers 38 charge attack of the Burgundians, who takes the W. Mr. Yo, unfortunately, with his camel archers, just couldn't micro him. Like I said, if they were microed properly, they could have put a serious dent in the Custelier count, and then maybe have the bombard cannons take care of the trebs. Well, with 6 trebs gunning down his second last castle, his camel archers no longer safe because there's a whole bunch of skirmishers. His villager count depleted. It is Mr. Yo who taps out. GG's lives to fight another day, and Sebastian with the crazy fun tech switch, the absolute destruction and mayhem caused by this Burgundian war machine, and the absolute slaughter of 41 villagers in 40 minutes. Who takes that W, but GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.